Video games are a great medium for telling stories, but sometimes they need a little something to make them just a bit more special. Enter the narrator, that all-knowing being that tells us about the world and characters of a game, and often becomes the vocal heart of the game they're in. I'm Josh for Top Hat Gamer, and this week we're looking at the top 5 best narrators in video games. Number 5. Ron Perlman, Fallout series. War. War never changes. These are the words that begin the various adventures in Fallout's radioactive wasteland, and the short narration used to set up these tales or recount the choices we made by the story's end wouldn't hit quite as hard were it not for the heavy, pensive voice work of Ron Perlman. Perlman's thoughtful voice work is so intrinsically tied to the Fallout series that when I booted up Fallout 4 and didn't immediately hear his somber retelling of this alternate history, it instantly felt like the game was missing something. War never changes, and voice actors shouldn't either. Number 4. Stephen Fry, Little Big Planet series. I've heard a lot of criticism directed towards the Little Big Planet games over the years, but no matter how you feel about the game's visuals and mechanics, you can't deny that Stephen Fry's narration is the most calming thing in the world. Little Big Planet's distinct kid-friendly style wasn't for everyone, but I think Fry's soothing tones and cute jokes really bring it all together, and you couldn't reasonably ask for a more charming companion to join you on any adventure. Stephen Fry's narration truly is the heart of this adorable franchise. Number 3. The narrator, the Stanley Parable. More than just a storyteller, the Stanley Parable's narrator is as much a character as the titular Stanley. More so, even. Inhabiting the role of both a friend and a tormentor, the narrator tries his best to guide you through Stanley's office building, but when you take control into your own hands, he's none too pleased. Despite this, he seems to have an answer for everything, no matter what initially random or unpredictable moves you might make. Regardless of how you feel about the walking simulator subgenre of games, the Stanley Parable is undeniably enjoyable, thanks in no small part to the surprisingly extensive, often condescending, voice work of its narrator. Number 2. Rux, Bastion. There's a lot to love about Bastion's narrator Rux, aside from his top-notch facial hair. Probably the best thing about him is his constant recounting of the game's events. If I'm being honest, Rux was probably the first time I'd heard such extensive reactive narration in a video game, and the thorough voiceover is all the more effective thanks to Rux's smooth and composed delivery. You always get the sense that Rux has been everywhere and seen practically everything, and his world-weary storytelling remains one of the most memorable aspects of Bastion as a whole. Number 1. Your Ancestor, Darkest Dungeon. When Darkest Dungeon opens, you're presented with a quick setup detailing how your ancestor disturbed some ancient cosmic horrors beneath his estate and subsequently shot himself to escape the insanity. This setup is delivered in a grandiose monologue by your now-deceased relative, and every syllable that creeps out of his mouth is dripping with an eldritch gravitas that helps to make the game's narration one of its strongest points. The voice of your dead ancestor continues to recount the events of your various adventures, and the occasionally mocking, mostly hopeless tone nails the overall emotions that Darkest Dungeon tries its best to evoke in the player. There you have it, my top 5 narrators in video games. I'm sure there are plenty more that I missed, and these are just my picks, so let me know what you would have added in the comments below, and game on!